The rain-streaked window reflected the somber faces of the Ashiro family in Detective Rahil's office. They were broken, shattered by the revelation that their perfect world was anything but. Now it was falling apart, and they blamed themselves. Mr. Ashiro bowed his head, defeated. "I failed my children. This is my fault." His wife reached out to comfort him, but he pulled away, unable to meet her gaze. "I should have known. Should have listened to Hannah, but I thought I could fix it." Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. "Come in." Rahil looked up to see his colleague standing in the doorway. She held a file in her hands, and as she approached, the room seemed to grow colder. "We got something," she said, placing the file on the desk. Rahil felt a chill crawl up his spine. When he opened the file, the contents hitting him like a physical blow, photos of Shozo, Mr. Ashiro's son, surrounded by expensive equipment, computer parts, and suspicious chemicals. But what really caught his eye was the stack of documents nestled at the bottom, evidence that could turn the case upside down. Detective Rahal took a deep breath and called the forensics team. He needed to sift through the data, looking for the smallest detail that could lead him to the truth. He was going to discover a shocking fact about Shozo Ashiro. Hours turned into days, and Detective Rahil barely slept. He was determined to find the truth. His eyes scanned through countless pages of data, analyzing Shozo's digital footprint. Just when he was about to give up hope, he found something buried deep in Shozo's deleted files. It was a series of coded messages, each one more perplexing than the last. But as Rahil stared at the jumbled letters and numbers, a memory surfaced. He recalled overhearing a snippet of conversation between two suspects, a cryptic exchange that had puzzled him at the time. Could this be the key? With renewed determination, Rahil compared the code to the conversation, matching the numerical sequences to the pauses in the dialogue. Slowly, painstakingly, he decoded the messages. The final image was seared into his brain. Picture of an old abandoned warehouse on the city's outskirts, the kind of place where secrets went to die. Rahil sprung into action. He radioed his partner, informing her of the potential new lead. Minutes later, they were speeding toward the warehouse, adrenaline surging through their veins. The truth lay somewhere in that decaying structure, and they were about to bring it to light. As the detectives cautiously entered the dimly lit warehouse, the air thick with dust and decay, they realized they weren't alone. There in the shadows stood Shozo Ashiro, his face ashen, eyes wide with fear. In his hands was a small vial containing a clear liquid. Seeing the detectives, Shozo's face crumpled, and he dropped the vial. It shattered on the concrete floor, releasing a pungent chemical odor. "Shozo, don't move," Rahil commanded, his voice echoing in the vast emptiness of the warehouse. As the officers closed in, Shozo crumbled. He confessed to the murder, explaining how he'd meticulously planned his sister's death, framing it as an accident to inherit his father's fortune. But his confession didn't bring the relief Rahil had expected. There was still something amiss, a nagging question that refused to be ignored. Why did Shozo need to kill his sister? What was so terrible about his father's wealth? These questions echoed in the back of Rahil's mind as he prepared to arrest Shozo. "There's more to this story," he muttered under his breath. Back at the station, Rahil couldn't shake off the feeling that something was out of place. He revisited the evidence, scrutinizing every detail, searching for a clue he might have missed. Then it hit him. He remembered the strange behavior of Mr. and Mrs. Ashiro during their last meeting, their evasive answers, their fleeting expressions of guilt. Could there be more to their story? Had they been involved in something bigger than they were letting on? Fueled by this realization, Rahil decided to pay the Ashiros another visit. He wanted answers, and he wouldn't rest until he got them. Arriving at the Ashiro residence once again, Rahil was met by the family, their faces etched with worry. He sat down with them, hiding nothing in his gaze. "I believe you know more than you're telling me," he stated, his voice unwavering. The family was silent, each member glancing at the other, unsure of what to say. Finally, Mrs. Ashiro broke down, revealing a shocking truth. They hadn't just been hiding something. They had been protecting their entire empire built on secrets and lies. Their wealth, they confessed, was tainted, acquired through underhanded means that would shatter their reputation if exposed. Hannah, their daughter, had stumbled upon this dark truth, threatening to expose it all unless they agreed to sever ties with their corrupt business partners. They had tried to reason with her, but in a moment of anger, they had silenced her, inadvertently leading to her untimely demise. Raheel felt a surge of emotions: anger, betrayal, and a profound sense of loss for Hannah. The picture that was forming was a tragic one, a family torn apart by its own secrets. But as he absorbed this revelation, a new resolve solidified within him. He would uncover the truth behind their fortune, no matter how far it reached. And so, Raheel embarked on a perilous journey into the heart of the Ashiro family's empire. He dug through financial records, followed money trails, and uncovered a web of deceit that stretched far beyond the Ashiros. Along the way, he made dangerous enemies, those who would stop at nothing to protect their ill-gotten gains. Yet, Raheel pressed on, driven by an unwavering sense of justice and an unquenchable thirst for the truth. Each step brought him closer to the core of a conspiracy that threatened to engulf the city itself. After weeks of investigation, the pieces finally fell into place. Raheel learned that the Ashiro family fortune was built on a foundation of bribery, extortion, and fraud. That their wealth was a ticking time bomb waiting to explode and destroy everything in its path. Hannah, the innocent soul who had stumbled upon this dark truth, had been tragically silenced, her life cut short by those who valued money over morality. But Hannah's spirit lived on in the form of evidence, hidden away in places only she would know. Raheel, guided by an insatiable thirst for justice, had followed these breadcrumbs, navigating a treacherous path filled with deceit and danger. He had unmasked the true culprits, exposing their sinister plot to silence Hannah and maintain their empire of lies. The dramatic showdown that ensued was a testament to the lengths these desperate individuals would go to protect their ill-gotten gains. Raheel, however, was prepared. He had anticipated their every move, ensuring that justice was served and the guilty faced the consequences of their actions. In the aftermath, the city breathed a collective sigh of relief. The truth had been revealed, and the scales of justice had tipped. But for Raheel, the victory was bittersweet. He had triumphed over the darkness, but the scars of this harrowing ordeal would forever remain etched in his memory. As he looked out over the cityscape, he knew that the battle against corruption was far from over. There would be other conspiracies, other truths buried deep within the shadows, waiting to be unearthed. But Raheel was ready. He had tasted the bitter fruit of injustice, and he vowed to use his experiences to pave the road to a brighter, more honest future. And with that, our story draws to a close. But remember, dear viewers, the fight for truth and justice never ends. It lives on in each of us. So keep your eyes open, your mind sharp, and your hearts courageous. Because the world always needs more truth seekers like Detective Raheel. Thank you for joining us on this journey today. If you enjoyed this thrilling tale, please don't forget to show your support. Your likes and comments are our inspiration to keep bringing you more captivating stories. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and above all, stay truthful.